As my regular viewers would be aware, I'm currently here in Vietnam teaching robotic surgery down in Ho Chi Minh City. But being here and seeing life in Vietnam has made me think more broadly about health issues and the similarities or the differences that may exist between Vietnam and other countries in the West, particularly for me, Australia, where I am based. In this video, I'd like to highlight for you some of the chronic health issues that are facing Vietnamese people in 2025. And if you stick around to the end of the video, I'll let you know how that compares to issues that Australian men are facing at a similar time. For those of you new to the channel, my name is Dr. Charles Chabert. I'm a urologist and director of the Prostate Clinic located on the Gold Coast in Australia. So the number one issue for Vietnamese men is heart disease. And this is something for those of you that maybe have traveled domestically or internationally will have been aware of the significant changes that are facing society as a whole. Heart disease really, what underpins heart disease really is lifestyle factors. And that can be anything from smoking, for example, or urban pollution to the diet that we consume and the level of activity that we have. And really what underpins the development of hardening of the arteries and restriction of blood supply to the heart really is everything that is related to metabolic syndrome. Now, cancers get a very bad rap for obvious reasons, and cancers are problematic to treat if they're diagnosed later, and without doubt are far easier to manage if we find them at a far earlier stage. I found this very interesting in my first couple of days in Ho Chi Minh City, realizing the big geographical variation in the incidence of prostate cancer between Vietnam and Australia. Here in Vietnam, there is a population of around 100 million people, and there only is around 6,000 new diagnoses of prostate cancer on an annual basis. In Australia, by comparison, we have around 25 million people, and there are in excess of 22,000 new diagnoses of prostate cancer on an annual basis. Now, in part, that may reflect that Vietnamese men, on average, live a decade shorter than their Australian counterparts. It could also be the lack of testing. And as many of you will be aware, PSA testing, the blood test, is the cornerstone of how we screen for prostate cancer. And certainly the utility of that test is far wider reaching in Western societies than it is here in Vietnam. So it could be a byproduct of both a reduction in longevity, but also not testing. The other thing that I found while we're talking about the regional cancer variation is the higher incidence in liver cancer in Vietnam compared to Australia. And what really drives that is the almost endemic chronic infection rate with hepatitis B and hepatitis C, and certainly higher alcohol consumption in Vietnam when compared to other Southeast Asian nations. If you'd like to be part of our growing community, please follow the link in the comment section down below and sign up to our free newsletter that comes out on a weekly basis, keeping you up to date with all aspects related to prostate health and various treatments that are available for men. Now back to the video. The third chronic health issue on the radar for Vietnamese people is diabetes, in particular type 2 diabetes. And again, this relates to metabolic factors. So this really is an increase in the consumption of processed food or refined carbohydrates. So there's a lot more processed sugar that is found in food. And when we look at the urbanization of societies, that can be associated with a more sedentary lifestyle. And it's this combination of increased consumption of processed carbohydrate in combination with a reduction in activity, basically, which leads to obesity. So number one, weight gain, which is found globally now, but obesity really is the cornerstone of the troubles. In addition, men and ladies, but men develop increase in their blood pressure, so they develop essential hypertension. They can have dyslipidemia or elevation in their cholesterol, metabolic syndrome with its associated obesity, type 2 diabetes, elevation in blood pressure, and elevation in cholesterol. And it's the combination of these things that increases the risk of coronary artery disease, cerebrovascular disease. So respectively, that increases our risk of a heart attack and also a stroke. Number 4 really relates to chronic lung problems. And if you've ever been to large, densely populated cities, pollution is a byproduct of that. I will say, however, certainly from an anecdotal perspective of my experience of traveling Asia over the last 3 decades, there are significant improvements in urban pollution, but still urban pollution in combination with smoking is a big risk factor for the development of chronic lung problems. Interestingly enough, the smoking rate in the adult male population here in Vietnam is approaching 50%. So 1 in 2 men smoke. It's interesting walking the streets of Hanoi, where I currently am. It's every street corner has people, A, drinking coffee, and B, smoking from a traditional pipe. It looks like they're smoking tobacco, or alternatively, extensive smoking of cigarettes. That is everywhere. Infectious disease, which I would have thought would have been higher up the list, is really down at number 5, and there still is a significant amount of tuberculosis or TB, dengue fever, and as I mentioned, hepatitis. Look, if you found this video interesting, please like the video, subscribe to the channel. If you've got comments or insights with regards healthcare, health conditions here in Southeast Asia, please leave the comment down in the comment section below. If you'd like to know more about your prostate or prostate conditions and health, please have a look at this video or alternatively this video. Until the next time, take care of your prostate.